believe that the Blue Bomber has been around for a quarter of a century. Through the good and the bad, Mega Man has given us some of the best side-scrollers to date. From Mega Man 2 and 3 to X and 0, Mega has set a standard for great level design and rockin' gaming tunes, which makes Capcom's treatment of their own mascot in recent months all the more tragic. After canceling 2 Mega Man titles, one that left fans shrugging their shoulders, and the other one shouting betrayal after Capcom blamed their own fanbase for a lack of support as an excuse for cancellation, and a complete joke based off the original box art in Street Fighter X Tekken, which was an exclusive character I might add, Mega Man was at an all-time low. I mean, his most notable appearance this year was in a crossover that was only released in Japan. And let's not forget about him being exempt from both versions of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to make room for, Rocket Raccoon.
Let's see, what other character could have gone in here? Mega Man! Have you heard of him? He kind of built your franchise, he built your company for you, Capcom!
Oh, and don't think I didn't notice that they just took the Legends 3 engine to make that Lost Planet spin-off, X Troopers. Guys, that's not a slap in the face. That's a punch right in the Mega Balls. But, hey, it's Mega Man's 25th. I'm sure the people at On Disc DLC Island have something special planned for us. So, let's see what they have for Mega Man's 25th anniversary. Yeah, I don't think so. Instead, we'll be taking a look at Mega Man's Big 2-0 with Mega Man ZX Advent. Seriously, aside from the obvious lack of Android support, why would a game where you don't play as Mega Man be a good celebration of the Mega Man series? As such, we're going to see how Capcom celebrated Mega Man before their management went Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. Wait, what's that? Capcom also made a new 8-bit Mega Man for his 25th? Actually no, they didn't. They took a fan-made crossover with Street Fighter, only this time they're passing it off as an 8-bit Mega Man game just to please the fans. With a game made by the fans. A fan to be specific. Yeah, I don't buy the "this is for the fans" part one bit. Tell that to the people who helped out with Mega Man Legends 3. No, this is Capcom on damage control, and they're doing a bad job as it is. I mean, I'm not even a Mega fan, but seriously, his name isn't even the first one in the title. It's his 25th anniversary, and he has to share the title with Street Fighter, yet Street Fighter gets a massive collector's edition and another crossover with Tekken for their anniversary? Way to show respect for your mascot, Capcom. Well, it's free for PC, so I can't really complain that much. If you want to go and play it, go play it, and congrats to the creator. He clearly cares more about Mega Man than his own company does. Anyway, mini rant over, let's take a look at Mega Man ZX Advent and see just how well Capcom did for the Blue Bomber's Big 2-0. The plot is a sequel to Mega Man ZX, which comes after the Mega Man Zero series, which takes place after the X games, which takes place 1,000 years after the original 8-bit series. Jeez, Mega Man continuity is just confusingly long, isn't it? I mean, this doesn't even count the Legend games, which take place even farther in the future, or the other bajillion spin-offs there are out there. Bottom line, you're probably not going to be caring about Mega Man's story, and this game is no exception. It tries to have some sort of plot and say something deep about man, but it's so convoluted and confusing, it's not worth saying any more about. Besides, do you honestly play Mega Man for such gripping and touching moments as this?
But where is Dr. Wily?
That's a good question. We may be able to locate another energy emission from the radar room. When we find that meteor, we'll find Dr. Wily.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's move on to what makes Mega Man, Mega Man. Ridiculous bosses, awesome weapons, and level design. And, well, it definitely has the former two down, what with bosses like Ugo Island Rosebark. But there are actually some legitimately well-done bosses and memorable encounters, as well as great weapons, or in this case, forms that you get when you beat your enemies. However, all of them have one thing in common. They're really challenging. This is no cakewalk, it's classic Mega Man hard, so expect to have some moments of frustration when you die just when the boss has one sliver of health left. The stages are a mixed bag, leaning closer towards great than bad. Earlier stages are pretty straightforward. There's not much that's impressive about them, they're just pretty standard and generic action platforming fare. But later stages offer up non-linear and well-designed levels. in particular, the highway and the mysterious laboratory. However, stage is a bad choice of words. It's more like a section in a connected world. Yes, unlike a lot of other Mega Man games, Mega Man ZX Advent allows for you to explore its world outside of its main stages. This is where the game makes a change for the worse from the standard formula. See, in most Mega Man games, you're restricted to choosing levels that you can do, but you could choose to play them whatever order you wanted to. It was this freedom of choice and restriction, coupled together with the weapon copy mechanics, that made Mega Man games stand out from other platformers at the time of its conception. I mean, there's a few sub-tanks off the beaten path, and there's some side quests to partake in, but aside from that, the world doesn't really do much except make navigation all the more confusing. Neither does the option to play as two different characters. They have some unique weapons to use, but they're nothing special, you won't care either way. Speaking of extra things to do, there's also a few bonus minigames, but they're all forgettable with one exception. An 8-bit Mega Man game. This alone is worth the price of admission. In fact, this little bonus may be more important to Mega Man than you'd think. Why? Well, how about Mega Man 9, an 8-bit Mega Man game that came the year after? But there's actually more to it than just the style. There's also the design. See, in Mega Man ZX Advent, many of the enemy's weapons were used to solve simple puzzles, gain access to new areas, or items you couldn't get to before. In Mega Man 9, you could use the Robot Master's weapons for more than just beating enemies outright, and it added a little bit more strategy to the game. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but if it isn't, it wouldn't surprise me. Mega Man ZX Advent does things differently from the other Mega Man games, but it doesn't do enough to change itself from the other Mega Man formula set from X forward, nor does it make the right choices to make it the new evolution of the Blue Bomber series. But, as it stands, it makes it a fine action platformer in its own right. Finally, the presentation, which is not so great. I mean, the graphics, for 2007 at least, were really damn good, with some real crisp sprite work. But sound, something Mega Man is known to be great at, is where the game completely falls flat. The music is entirely forgettable, with one exception, and even that track is pretty good, but not great good. For a Mega Man game, this is shameful. And then, there's the voice acting.
For a raider to make it this far is quite something.
Oh god, the voice acting. At least they know how to pronounce their R's and L's unlike Dalai, but the voice acting is atrocious. Couple that with some weak sound, and this is probably the first game that I recommend you turn on some music of your own. Mega Man ZX Advent looks great, but sounds great, it does not. The term Advent can be used to describe a significant event, or the occurrence of an event that is abnormal. In the case of Mega Man ZX Advent, it's honestly a lot better than I remember it being. As a kid, I didn't really like it because of the difficulty, and at the same time because of the other Mega Man games that I played it. And though I still stand by the fact that I think that the Classic and the X series are still better, on its own, as an action platformer, it's incredibly fun, a complete blast to play through. And for Mega Man's 20th, it did justice to the Blue Bomber. So, happy 25th Mega Man. Here's to the next 25, assuming Capcom keeps their promise. So, until next time, game on, my friends.